Hey there, it's Mallory here with Cats.com, where we're all about cats. And in this week's video, I want to talk about some of the weirdest facts about cats. There are a lot of weird things in life, and cats are no exception. And the more that I learn about cats, the more things I learn that are surprising or even shocking or downright weird. So the first weird fact about cats that I want to talk about is their senses. Cats are able to experience the world in ways that we can't. To start, their noses are picking up smells that we can't detect. So they have about 40 times the odor receptors that we do, allowing them to smell in a way that we probably can't even comprehend. Secondly, not only do they hear higher frequencies of sound than we do, and even higher than dogs do, but their ears are made to detect sounds from all around them. They're incredibly flexible, able to rotate 180 degrees. So your cat is constantly hearing things all around them. Additionally, a cat's sense of sight is different from ours. So while their experience of color is a little bit limited compared to ours, and they seem to not see as well in bright light, their eyes are optimized with more rods to be better at detecting movement and to see better in dim lighting. Again, this comes back to your cat's status as a predator. They are optimized for hunting their prey. So if your cat seems to be listening to something that you can't hear, or looking at something invisible, or even smelling something that you can't, chances are they actually are experiencing something that is completely inaccessible to you. My second weird fact is that there is some truth to this idea that cats always land on their feet. So while it's not true that a cat can jump or drop from any height and be perfectly fine, high-rise syndrome is a real issue with cats, it is true that cats have an incredible ability to right themselves mid-fall. They have what is called a righting reflex that is developed from a very young age. A 9-week-old kitten is capable of doing a series of contortions and movements mid-fall that will allow them to land on their feet. So this involves having a strong sense of where the ground is, being able to rotate their bodies in order to orient themselves into that kind of upright position, and then kind of spread out their bodies to make something like a little cat wingsuit, splay their paws, and soften that landing. And they do this really successfully. Cats can, in fact, fall from greater heights than other animals and sustain fewer injuries. And this doesn't mean your cat should just be dropping from great heights, but it does mean that they are better at doing it than other animals. This comes down to the fact that cats are both predator and prey animals. They tend to go up high in trees. They need to have an ability to drop safely. And in addition to being able to fall from great heights, cats can jump up too. Your cat has an impressive ability to jump really high. Cats are capable of jumping as much as 6 times their own height from floor to shoulder, and some cats can jump as high as 8 feet straight in the air. It's the equivalent of a person jumping 4 stories off the ground. It's very, very impressive. The next thing about cats that is really weird is their purr. So there's just so much mystery and so many interesting things built into your cat's purr. We know that cats tend to purr when they're feeling contented and happy. It's something that they learned as kittens and which continues throughout their life. But you might not know that cats also purr when they're stressed or they're in pain or injured. To make things even more interesting, the frequency of a cat's purr is at the same particular frequency that's being studied for its ability to promote bone growth and support healing. So it seems that there may be some real physical benefit to your cat's purr. So they're purring for a reason. Not only can this help the cat themselves, but it can help humans around them. And then to make things even more interesting, the purr itself physically remains something of a mystery. So for a long time, we thought that maybe the purr came from the heart, the sound of blood moving into the heart. But today it's thought that it comes from the muscles in the larynx. But even though we've kind of pinpointed the location or the origin of the purr, we don't exactly know the mechanism that causes cats to purr, how exactly the purr is triggered within your cat's body. So there's just so much mystery and so much weirdness built right into your cat's familiar purr. My next weird fact about cats is that they are incredibly good at moving into tight spaces due to the fact that they have floating collarbones. So instead of being connected by joints to any other bones, your cat's collarbones are just kind of embedded into their muscles, and this allows them to be incredibly flexible. When your cat squeezes through a space, their collarbones can kind of compress a little, and that will allow them to move through really tight gaps. In general, if a cat's whiskers can pass through something, their entire body can. And on that note, your cat's whiskers themselves are pretty weird. So a cat's whiskers are not just hairs, you can't just trim them. They serve an important purpose. So your cat's whiskers form this kind of sensing apparatus that helps them to navigate the world, to not only understand how wide a gap is, but to understand their position in space and other situations, to understand kind of direction and texture and just feel out their world. Their whiskers are embedded about 3 times deeper than their hairs, and they're incredibly sensitive. Next, cats have unique nose prints. So just like every human has unique fingerprints, every cat's nose is covered in a unique pattern of bumps and ridges that is distinct from one cat to another. So your cat's nose print is like no other nose print in the whole world. My next kind of quirky fact about cats is that cats, just like people, have a paw preference. So while cats tend to be kind of more or less ambidextrous, they do overall tend to use one paw a little bit more than the other. It's been observed that female cats tend to be a bit more right-pawed than male cats. So male cats tend to kind of prefer their left paw a little bit more compared to their female counterparts. And the next weird fact about cats is that they're the only mammal that cannot taste sweetness, or so it's believed. So researchers have done tests where cats are given a bowl of sugar water and given a bowl of non-sugar water, and they show no preference. More recently, it's been found that cats lack a functional taste receptor for sweetness. So while every other mammal out there seems to have this receptor allowing them to detect sweet taste, cats just don't seem to have it. And this stems from the fact that cats are obligate carnivores. They don't need carbohydrates. There's no advantage to them enjoying sweet flavors. Now, I know a lot of cats seem to enjoy sweet things, and it's generally thought that this is because they appreciate the texture, or maybe the fattiness of certain sweet foods, but it is not the sweetness that they're enjoying. And my last weird fact about cats, which is another thing that makes them unique in the animal kingdom, is that they're the only species for which catnip creates a psychoactive effect. So while humans and some other animals will feel kind of relaxed after having a catnip tea or something like that, only cats, including our domesticated house cats and big cats, experience that kind of so-called high from being exposed to catnip. They are reacting to a particular compound in the catnip called nepentolactone, which seems to only affect cats. Now, we don't exactly know why this is. It's thought that perhaps there's some sort of symbiotic relationship between the catnip and the cats, where they kind of help to spread the catnip seed by having this reaction to it, but it's still unclear exactly why. It's fascinating to me that this herb and our cats have this particular relationship. So that's about it for my weird facts about cats in general, but what's weird about your cat? I think every cat is unique and every cat has something about them that might be kind of eccentric or quirky, and I would love to hear in the comments what makes your cat special and weird in their own way. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.